everyone? Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back. Is your 12th The Rookie Season 8 episode review. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world. I felt like I had more to catch up on both The Rookie and Madlock front, and then I was about to shoot Madlock, and then I realized CBS put Madlock on break for 3 weeks. So I was like, blessing in disguise. But in all honesty, no, it was nice. It was nice to like be told that. So it was nice to be told, like, yeah, I already caught up. Thought it was more longer than I thought it would be, but nah. So I'm good on that. And The Rookie, now we're finally kind of quasi caught up. Not sure when the new episode comes out, for our review sakes, and then hopefully we will be caught up with that. That is the hope. That's the dream. We will see. We're just also trying to catch back up on the other stuff that, has been on the wayside. After the theater will return. We're working on it. We're making some progress. And we're just working right now. We're just working on the back end. So apologies for all the delays. But we do have some exciting stuff coming up once we get everything kind of resituated. But without all that being said, to get down to it with this week's episode, I feel like this is the moment where, like, again, it feels like it is a culmination episode where it feels like payoffs to a lot of things, whether they were short term or in the long term. That's what it kind of just felt like, so to speak. So I was very happy with that as a resort. I think they did a little bit of a different style. I feel like they were like playing around with a different style. Or maybe it was just me, like, kind of, thinking of the days of old. But, like, it was like they didn't really commit to one thing, but it was a really nice episode in terms of, like, it was almost all hands on deck on this one thing. And it wrapped up one thing and it teased off kind of a couple other things, but not too crazily at the sort. But yeah, I think after we hit next week's episode, this week's episode on my end, we're going to go straight into like the last rush of the season. And hopefully we'll really get some payoffs. Hopefully we'll start to see some real like longevity things finally pick up as, hopefully, where's season 9, ABC, where's season 9? We are about a month and a half away from upfronts. Like we gotta know, we gotta know this sort of thing. We should. But again, in all honesty, again, we will see how that all turns out to be. We'll see very, very soon on it. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. We will get a rookie announcement for a renewal or not in about a couple weeks. And if I'm wrong on that, then I am wrong. But again, I feel like this is something that fans have been waiting for a bit. And, despite how season 8, I at least have heard of the public reception on certain episodes recently. And I feel like I give them some merit, but at the same time, it's like, we talked about this, we're like, for a show to continue to gauge its audience, to maintain your audience, you can't just be formulaic every single time. You kind of have to break into the notion of like something new, something different as a result of it. But with all that being said, let's go through the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. So we begin with Bailey arriving back from DC. Obviously, again, last week teed off the idea of doing a sting operation to see who exactly is trying to hunt after Bailey and what exactly could that might mean. Nolan picks up Bailey like a traditional, like, supportive husband would. They get in the car, and obviously the same agent from last time is in the other car watching them, and then she's with another dude, and they're trailing them. So immediately, once they kind of like after a couple turns, they notice that, okay, yeah, these are the people watching us, and everyone's on deck on this. Bradford and Chen are in their own unit. Juarez and Gray are in a stakeout van. Miles is on a motorcycle. I believe Harper is riding solo, and Garza and Elena are running point at the watch post. Which again, I'm still a little miffed. Again, I understand. But you told me that the special ops team that Garza was personally responsible for, like, now he just switched it out with the task force. It is what it is. That the fact that we don't get a single one of them. I'm pretty sure they're off doing other operations, other missions, but like still, it sucks. Yeah, they're trying to gauge it. They're trying to play it carefully, play it safely. I believe they fake a truck blockade so that Miles can go in there and plan to not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie, a very obvious hidden camera, which I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I honestly thought this was gonna blow their cover, but I'm just like, damn. It's like similar to like I remember when I was rewatching season 4 when ironically, coincidentally, when Wesley was trying to plant a bug on in Elijah's operations, because they used like very close frequency, it picked up the static, and they found it, and they realized, yeah, Wesley is a snitch. So they were able to like kind of get that idea off the table there. So I'm just like, really, this is like super obvious, and they don't notice this. But yeah, it comes with a hidden microphone as well, so they're able to catch on the audio. They get the photos of the dude as well. They're both ex-armed forces, and they're just there yet again to see if they get the opportunity to kill Bailey to get her off the board once and for all. So I believe from that point onwards, we go to... Yeah, this is a random thing. I apologize. I don't know why. I'm just very sleepy today. I don't know why. I slept a good amount last night. I don't know why. But yeah, so from there, they're like, okay, the bug is placed. Everything seems ready to go. Nolan and Bailey are continuing their drive along, and that's when Bailey starts quoting a poem or something that was relevant to the situation. I didn't really vibe with that. This is me thing. That it is what it is on that one. But however, we are going to still get caught up on the Wesley and Lopez, who are approaching a few days away from the DA election coming to a close, sadly, because of Wesley's loss in the Glassman case and just the current public perspective of thing and Vivian's recent wins. It has not proven well for the Wesley campaign, and they're really trying to find a way to like really push on the margin to try and get that last minute vote in, and Lopez being the supportive potential first DA wife to be. Yeah, it becomes a little bit questionable on that front if they're able to make it. Obviously, Wesley's still focused on his own cases, making sure that, like, well, even if the DA race comes to an end, he still has his own cases to follow up on. Like, his work is not done yet, but definitely this will be a whole change in the vibes here should Vivian end up winning the race. But then that's when Wesley realized that he forgot he had to sign a thing for a judge at a courthouse, so they immediately just decide to drop on over. They notice a crowd kind of formulating around the entrance, maybe a big name case, which they don't really know about 100% speaking. Wesley goes up to the staircases, these are very nice staircases. And as he's going up, the press starts like surrounding the entranceway, and then the real person that comes up happens to be Elijah. That's right. Good old Brandon J. McLaren's coming back to the fold just for one scene. When I'm just like, it can't be just for one scene. 100%, he's got to come back for more. But no, he's present here too. Apparently, he was here to make a big announcement, kind of, ironically exposing Wesley further. Supposedly, apparently, when Wesley and Elijah were working canoodles together, and obviously Wesley says like, well, I already made that public, so don't imagine this to be like a groundbreaking new revelation. But Elijah's like, oh no, I know that, but I'm just kind of letting the public know, not only did you defame and betray the legal system, you also betrayed your wife, as you and your ironically your ex-wife Monica, who were under my employment at the same time, decided to pound it out while you were under my employment and while you were married to Lopez. And obviously trying to kind of build the suspicion of like, did Wesley cheat? And what was sadly clued on this is that there was some like a sliver of truth to this, considering the fact when they're in the car and they're discussing, this is fake, this clearly is not true. Wesley hates Monica with his guts, but Wesley never acknowledges the fact he never cheated. He never uses that specific phrasement, but he does know, like, yes, we need to get this out of the way. We need to get Monica to make a statement just to confirm that we did not cheat. We did not have any sexual activity during this time of employment. It did not happen. This is just Elijah trying to stir the pot out. And of course, obviously, that they're starting to think that Elijah's in cahoots with Vivian to get to basically skirmish Wesley's good name, which again, it is working. Sadly, it is very much working as a retort. Eventually, the task force pays their next card by kind of like positioning the people watching Bailey into a very closed, encapsulated space. which in this matter is the hospital. Which I'm like, of all the places, like it's got to be the hospital. I mean, of course, obviously, you know, you got to separate personal from professional. But like, Gray's probably like, why do we have to meet in the hospital? Like, come on, like my wife is there, and we ain't gonna on good terms. Um, yeah, so they plant a fake call trying to lure them out. They fall for it, so they all meet up in the hospital. Nolan and um, Bailey taking refuge in one of the rooms. Harper's acting as one of the nurses there, trying to like, you know, just maintain cover, trying to like, you know, see if they can. So apparently they just need multiple identities to be confirmed, and then they can like, you know, pull the plug on this and, you know, call it a day. So while the two meet up in the parking lot, while Bradford and Chen are watching from a distance, it turns out there's two other people also there, ready to help out with it. And again, there is a, you know, again, like, you know, they're obviously like, you know, okay, so I mean, I know we're in a public hospital, but we're trying to close the lid on this now, and it's like, yes, but we're gonna confirm the situation, call it in, and then get the green light to go. So we just need to confirm who the other federal agent is that's looking into us, and then we'll go from there. So they've split up. They go into the hospital. Bradford follows suit while Chen stays in the lookout vehicle just in case if anything does happen. So everyone's kind of positioned around the hospital strategically, to kind of just be prepared to get it. They managed to get two of the identities, but they need three identities to confirm the group. And then, however, sadly, while Harper was tailing the one that Bailey encountered in DC and another big taller one, she sadly does see them separate, but she does not witness the separation, so sadly she cannot confirm where she went. Turns out that one woman transitioned herself into a nurse as well, gets herself into one of the nearby computers to hack into the surveillance system to find Bailey and, you know, figure out who exactly was the other federal agent, which is Garza, but Garza's not on site on this one. So I believe from there we go over to, where do we go over? We head over to, I know there's a scene with Nolan and Bailey. I'm going to get this one out of the way because it's the first thing I can remember on top of my head. Bailey is obviously getting angsty. Like, she should be in the middle of the action right now. Like, you know, this is her situation. It's her fault, which I'm like, Bailey, first of all, the task force asked you to do this. Yes, you looked into this. Yes, but, like, at the end of the day, like, there wasn't much you can do. Like, you already got exposed. So, like, it's not really your fault. You did what Gray was falling to do. So, honestly, being in this position be kind of great. But she's kind of holding herself like, no, I put us into this situation that, you know, I need to get us out of this. And no one's like, no. Like, first of all, again, the task force did this, great did this, Cars did this. It's not on you. And second of all, you trying to go gun-ho solo on this is like, you know, it kind of takes away from the identity of our relationship. We're like, ever since day one, we've always gotten each other out of problems together, which was kind of sweet. But at the same time, it's kind of like, he's kind of striking on the pole on that one. So I believe from that point onwards, we head over to, where do we go over with that? I believe from there, so I know we're situating around. I know Harper and Elena communicated that like they're not able to get a full face show on the man because he's got a hat on, is being very shrouded. So Juarez comes in, kind of accidentally bum rushes him to get the hat off. They get the confirmation. So boom, they have all three. So now they have three of the four. So now they can proceed forward with exactly what's going on with that. Bradford sadly gets into the elevator with one of them, and he has like this is kind of obvious. I'm like, damn, it's like the most obvious thing. As soon as he puts the pieces together, it's like, oh, okay, so y'all were trying to trap us here. So the guy immediately stops the elevator. The two have a pretty well done fist fight, kind of getting each other into some close corners. So yeah, I really like this fight. This was a very well done fight. Gray sadly gets cut off because his wife finds him and they immediately have a conversation. She kind of calls out Gray. It's like, you know, I know I haven't been perfect lately. I know I have a lot of responsibility on our situation, but you refusing to like give us a chance to really talk about this in a very fair, open way kind of speaks to like you have something else up your up yourself that is like kind of prohibiting us from like really moving forward from this. And Gray's like, no, it is not. And then as soon as that phrase comes out, Bradford and the guy comes out, Gray immediately kind of drops everything, kind of just goes in to help out with the arrest. So they get one guy out of the four. So sadly, because the woman who's watching everyone on CCTV as well, notices this. She realized it's a trap. They already knew we were here. They cut out. They immediately start dispersing, trying to get away and to regroup at another place. Elena tries to kind of calm in for backup, but Garza's like, doesn't matter. They're gonna 100% drop what they look like right now and try to regroup somewhere else. So they're in the win. So we cut back over to Lopez and Wesley. Lopez, actually, no, we don't get to that conversation just quite yet. I know, yeah, Wesley and Lopez, again, are on the same mindset of, like, reaching out to Monica, trying to get a statement on the record. And I forgot, the whole frame of the beginning of this episode was that we got two separate interviews going where Garza, Nolan, and Gray are being interviewed by the higher-ups in the FBI, just to kind of confirm the validity of this case. Considering the fact, yeah, part of it is based on an AI entity helping them out, so I'm like, where does the legality stand on that? That's a little bit questionable. And at the same time, Wesley having an interview on TV because of the comment from Elijah that he cheated on Lopez while they were married, well recently, with Monica. So they're trying to like cover both bases on it. And I know Lopez does call Harper to fill in on the whole matter, and obviously Harper's kind of taken aback by the whole thing. And then Lopez meets up with Monica about it. Monica's being very coy as well about it. So I'm like, there's something on here, which I'm like, would Wesley really cheat on Lopez with Monica? I'm like, hell to the freaking no. But no, so Lopez makes her pitch to it, like, I know you're not a big fan of us. I know, like, we're in a very iffy territory, but if there was any way you could possibly just make a statement, put it on the record that, like, Wesley and you did not have sex at any point while you were with Elijah. And she's like, I would gladly do it, but I want Wesley to be the one to ask me, and that's my final offer. And obviously Lopez is like, freck, because Wesley does not want to implore that option, but they don't really have much of a choice on that matter, sadly speaking. So from there, I want to say, so the first day of the sting op sadly does not go the way they expect. They do get the one dude. They already like kind of make their case. So now they got the three identities like figured out. They can kind of make a rough map of what exactly has happened. So apparently there's this general dude. He's in the higher ups of the brass chain. He's in a very comfy position. He's usually handling all like security contract and work. And all of a sudden, the organization that the three of them, or presumably all four of them, work for, suddenly jump in the activity sphere in terms of being constantly used, but not really being used, if that makes sense. This is where I kind of lose it, because they said there was some kickbacks, so there were some advantages and everything. However, I think something happened and there was going to be a pullout for that general, so he hired these four to go into the office that Bailey found them in. And or it could be also related to the rich guy from a few weeks ago. That makes sense too. But no matter what, he informs them that I need my name cleared from all these documents. So go to the Pentagon, get this scrubbed out, and just cover my ass. And that's when Bailey discovers them, and obviously that's going to lead to a whole thing and a half. And then obviously, now that they have the confirmation, it's like, you can cut a plea deal right now. We can instantly get you off the hook for all these activities. You just need to snitch out the others. And the guy's like, nope, give me my lawyer. And they're like, great, wonderful. But that ends really the first day of it. Second day comes out, everyone's going back to uniform, coming back to their start of their shifts. Nolan gets a call from Zuzu again, this time letting him know, like, yeah, I've been hearing you guys have been having some difficulties with this case, so I decided to kind of chime in to help out, and I managed to kind of find the burner phone that one of your missing subjects is using right now to contact the general. Nolan immediately calls Wesley to get like at least some legal credibility on this, considering the fact this is entirely brand new material. And Wesley's immediately, well, technically we can't really use it. It's in a very unique circumstance. It can be, but there really is none at the moment to really confirm or deny it. And that's when I guess Zuzu plays the message, and yeah, it does confirm everything. Like, yeah, she's like, in cahoots with the general, and it's like, okay, we have a problem now. We're already one man down. The subject's in the wind too. What do we do? And the guy's like, yeah, okay. Well, first of all, our team member that has been captured. Are we 100% certain he's gonna flip on us? And she's like, no, he's very loyal. He won't flip. He's like, okay, great. Well, let's regroup in DC, come back to DC with the rest of the team, and let's formulate a new plan of how to get this like entire problem resolved, so to speak. So once they got the tracing, it's like, yeah, they're gonna go back to DC very soon. So if they want to catch them, now would be the time. So yeah, so from there, I believe everyone gets mobilized on that format. Everyone's back in their units. They're just trying to track her down, trying to get to the group, and all that sort. And I believe from that point, yeah, I'm so sorry. From that point onwards, they managed to find the car. They corner them via the three shops. The three of them split up for different directions. Miles and Harper. Honestly, really cool moment here where, like, the guy's about to take someone hostage. Miles immediately just jumps on a park bench, tackles him, and they get him down. It's like, I'm pretty sure the guy was like, yeah, we just saved the whole 10, 15 minutes of this hostage situation. Thank you so much, Miles. I appreciate it. Bradford and Chen corner the big dude, and the big dude's, yeah, nah, I'm gonna go out swinging. So I'm like, we're gonna fight. We're gonna have a good old fashioned fisticuffs. And they're both like, nah. Immediately starts tasing him. He goes down pretty easily. Nolan and Juarez corners the last operative in a museum nearby. It seems kind of dire. She does have a weapon, but they do manage to kind of talk her out of it, saying that, is this really worth it? Like, the situation you're in right now, are you really ready to like give up your life for this? And she's like, no, and she gives up the gun and like surrenders to them. So every one of the team is captured right now and taken in. So I believe from that point, I know there was one more phone conversation that came in, before the bus. Apparently it was the general making some calls, just kind of trying to apparently he was going to hire hitmen to take out the rest of the team, because even if they come back to base, it's like, well, you already know about it. We already got one per. I can't take any more risks. So my one's already on the inside. Let's get everyone off the board now, and then I'll find a new team to like clear my name. But sadly, his plan failed. So now they got all of them in custody, and at least one of them's willing to talk. So I believe from that point onwards, I want to say I know we cut to Wesley having his one-on-one with Monica, as Monica requested, and Wesley does ask her, considering the situation, I would greatly appreciate it. But Monica's like, yeah, but you're not a cheater. And that's while Wesley didn't cheat on Monica on Lopez with Monica, he did cheat on Monica with someone else. Now, exactly how that exactly happened, we don't get into specifics of it, but Wesley does acknowledge that, yes, I made the mistake because I didn't have a conversation with you about my unhappiness in the relationship. I just did an action that caused you to betray your trust. Yes, Stephanie?
6 minutes lunch.
Okay. So from that point, so it really becomes a little bit, it's not fair to Monica as well. She's a human being. She deserves, even if they weren't doing well in their relationship, that at least they should have at least had a conversation about it. And Wesley at least acknowledges that. And, he'll understand if Monica does say no at the end of the day. He doesn't deserve it. But, too, like, considering that you wouldn't want to have this false information out for people to assume by. And Monica says she'll think about it, and then they cut base on there. Gray does have his conversation with Luna, and he does admit, okay, I'm going to be open to having a conversation with you. Today's not the day, but I will call you soon, and we will see what we can do in a fair negotiation pattern of this, which Luna's like, I greatly look forward to it. So hopefully that does mean something of the force for the future for them. Apparently Lopez managed to get in touch also with Zuzu, and Zuzu managed to drop all this information, all the sketchy details about Vivian, and if this goes on in the public, this would destroy Vivian's campaign in 1, 2, 3, but Lopez does know, being married to Wesley, it also means that she wants Wesley to win on his own accord. So she does delete all the evidence that would have acquitted, that would have basically destroyed Vivian, and they're ready to just talk shit about her for the rest of the night. However, Wesley does come in with the video that Monica promised, that Monica did confirm on the air that, yep, nope, we did not have an affair, we did not cheat. We are good. But however, it's very coincidental that the timing of this came up just before the campaign. Who would benefit from a cheating scandal right now would be, she doesn't say name, but she very makes it clear that, like, just think about it. Just think about that. But clearly the battle's not over. The DA race is still on, so we'll see how that will play out next time, hopefully speaking. Yeah, I know Bradford and Chen are back at their place. Bradford using some ice to, like, cool down all of his injuries the last couple days, and he tells Chen, like, being back on the field these last couple days, 3 technically when he was helping out Chen with a recovery, it kind of made him miss the force, kind of made him miss being out there on patrol, like getting into some action. Like he missed it. Like he's not really much of a desk jockey guy, and he knows that, like, yes, like this is the next stage of my development, but obviously traditionally, they stay behind the desk, watch commanders all day, just do the paperwork, just be the point of contact for it all. And Chen's like, yeah, but, like, you don't necessarily have to follow those traditions. You could definitely make your own traditions. And it kind of goes back to, like, even like a few seasons ago, ironically in season 4, which I'm like, the amount of callbacks is wonderful here. Where even Gray told him, like, yeah, being a sergeant is gonna come with a different change of pace. And Bradford's like, yeah, but, like, maybe I gotta form my own pace on it. And it's like kind of calling back to that, where, like, Bradford now has to find a new pace, being watch commander, still doing the duties of the role, but still being able to be satisfied in the role and being in the position that he is. Nolan and Bailey are enjoying a lovely dinner together, trying to call it a night, and Bailey tells to Nolan, I don't want to hear I told you so, but I'm gonna quit my job in DC. And I'm just like, what was the hope? I understand, like, she had to go through the journey, the moment to, like, understand, like, her home is here, like, her real passion job is here in LA with Nolan, and you put that on the line, and she's like, yeah, you can say, like, I jeopardized our whole marriage just for this job that I ended up not loving at the end. And Nolan's like, our marriage was never in jeopardy, which I'm like, bullcrap, Nolan. There was a part of you that was thinking, yeah, this could be finito for you guys, but okay. I mean, Bailey's jobless, but, yeah, she's back in LA. That's great. That really did nothing with the budget. We didn't even go to DC. We did nothing with the budget. However, they do get a call from Zuzu. Apparently, the whole reason why he's been all this, like, path of justice lately was because finally they found his mother center. They're destroying the entire embers of his AI entity, and yeah, that'll be it. So he was just trying to help out his friends for a little bit longer before he goes, and that was it. He dies right in front of them, and I'm just like, very weird, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. And that was it for this week's episode of The Rookie. I really liked it a lot. I think it was a very fun espionage theme episode. I think just seeing the actions at play here, Bailey coming back in the center of it, seeing just, like, some cool fight scenes, Honestly, this was The Rookie just, like, balancing. It's one of those, like, different sort of feel episodes with one of their, like, traditional, like, tropes. And I think it was a wonderful blend on it. It does go a little bit personal with Wesley admitting he has cheated before in the past. I think that's a very human confession to make. Definitely kind of, it doesn't sympathize Monica 100% speaking, but it does definitely at least give a little kudos. Like, yeah, Monica's not cold-hearted for a reason. Like, she was kind of led into that. Wesley was part of it. So, again, it doesn't forgive her for her action, but it definitely does give a little bit more credence to, like, yeah, she was a human at one point. Not the best human, but still a human. And I hope Gray and Luna do patch it up, but I do believe Gray should still stand his ground and still get something for it. He still should have his feelings be said and not having to compromise too much for it. I do hope that does come up. And Elijah coming back again. I love Brandon J. McLaren's. I would love to see more of him, and I hope they're teeing up for him to come back soon. I really do hope so. But yeah, Bailey's back in LA, so I'm like, what was the point of the DC job storyline? I don't know. But with that being said, I'm giving this episode 1 3/4 thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of this week's episode of The Rookie. Did you love it? Did you like it? Let me know down below. I would love to have a conversation with you about it. But I believe that's going to do for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 8th season of The Rookie. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two besides our Rookie episode reviews. We also do Matlock episode reviews each and every week after brand new episodes on CBS. But if you don't care about The Rookie, you're in luck. We'll be back very soon with another episode review for you, so stay tuned until then. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow social media for more. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.